Hello and welcome to episode 6 or something of Hyperefficient Startup. And today we're going to talk about why the fuck did I skip 2 days in a row. So essentially, yesterday we had a meeting with my amazing co-founder because she arrived to London. We talked a little bit about strategy and the common wisdom or uncommon wisdom when it comes to sales and our priorities and such. And obviously, all the time I was working on finishing the website, and I don't know if there's anything particularly mind blowing compared to what I mentioned before. So I mean, let's just have a look at the comments. And try to figure out if there's anything interesting actually. So I made like a donation page to test live mode. So just it's a foreshadowing to the fact that we have released the website. It's completely corresponding to the old website one-to-one, except all the places where we were talking about our product and about our offering now are replaced with actually the Stripe links that where you can enter your details and start a hiring campaign. So in terms of everything works. I mean, I think there was one little thing which is worth mentioning, which is that when you have a single page app, right, you have, let's say your scroll is somewhere here. I don't know. Let's say that we are on a mobile. Oops, fuck, no. We're not leaking our information. Let's say we're on a mobile and we scroll somewhere here. Then we go to a case study, we scroll somewhere here, then we go back, then we go even more back. So the scroll, because it's a single page app now, the scroll would preserve. So I guess this is a little trick that I can talk about today. About how do we go about it. And actually the whole router thing is, it grew pretty big and it grew pretty convoluted. So we created this new thing called scroll to top handler, which is I wanted to align scrolls to attach scroll positions to each route in React Router. But I started doing it and I was like, fucking hell, it's gonna be like use ref, use effect. Like, no, we're not doing this, because I would spend a whole evening probably or more on this. So I decided, okay, I'll just, because I already have location change handler, right? I can just scroll to top handler together with location change handler, right? So it's gonna just be like scroll to top handler, location change handler, right? So same idea. We use location effect, and we depend on it in our use effect, right? So we say, so this makes that makes location dependency of this effect, right? So when location changes, this effect will fire. So we will just basically scroll to 0, 0. Very easy, very simple. I already showed you where to include it. So basically this is like layout with handler. This is like a nice separation of concerns. This is why I love React so much. Like I can write this horrible hacky bullshit, and it will be so isolated that I can then compose it into a single React component, and it will not interfere with with itself, like the same event, kind of, right? It's almost like an Erlang when you have a message that you that you multicast to like several consumers, and then those consumers can do whatever the fuck they want, as long as they don't mess up the system with them responding to this effect. you will have a very nice and composable situation going on. So this is one thing, and the other thing that was pissing me off was that because of the clash between React Router and the way that that following links work, when you would follow a link to an ID, to a header in a blog, sometimes the page would reload, and the scroll would be on the top. So let me explain what I mean. So let's say we go to blog. Let's say we go to blog. Let's say we go to post, the case study post, let's say. And then, like, if I would click like this to I, for example, right, send out the test task, it would sometimes just kind of refresh the page and go up top. And then I would so the URL would be like this, but the screen would be like that. And the reason for that was that it would render the page, and then because I'm loading with suspense, when the page, like, there's a race condition between the anchor, like between the page rendering and us going to the correct place, which in this case is that. And actually, I wonder if I will do this. You see that it blinks a bit and then it goes here. And actually, I think that it may be the case that if we open this page enough or on slow enough internet connection, that we may get this problem where we get stuck on the front as we open the link. Now that I think about it, we should really have a look at continue investigating this race condition. But at least now, with the changes I'm about to show, we make sure that whenever they click something, we prevent default, so we don't reload the page. And what we do is this horrible fucking hack, which again, we depend on location for it. And we listen to, and by the way, this is a very nice syntax. This is like, I love living in the future, because when I was a kid or teenager, we didn't have an option to write code like this, to write like selectors in, I don't think that we had like documents, query selector, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just a stupid kid. But anyway, we can get all the hrefs that start with a hash. And then for each of those, we can add event listener that would basically scroll into view using strategy smooth to that target element, and then we would push into history this target ID, which is the anchor, like in page anchor. And the reason why we need this is because we're preventing the default. And this is how we implemented this. Again, it's like not a clean solution, obviously. It's like very hacky. I don't think that this is how you're supposed to do it with React. But again, React is so great because you can literally isolate your dirty things in useEffect. And then we have layout main. And layout main is another kind of hack to make sure that our objects are always falling, and they will all even be falling if we navigate from here to here. Beautiful, beautiful. And as you see, we have released the website as a 0HR. If you want to meme around, you can go to /support and donate €1 to us. I just obviously created this endpoint to test the Stripe live mode that we indeed can receive money. It works, and yeah, like 10 minutes talking about 3 days. I guess it's worth noting that I have reread gap selling. I love the philosophy of gap selling. Basically, gap selling is the idea that people don't give a shit about you or your product, and you should sell to the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and you should investigate if your product can help them bridge this gap. And while you're selling, you shouldn't like go straight from problems to selling. Like, for example, I made this mistake when in one of the sales when I was talking to a company which had, how do I put it politely, they couldn't they were like shipping one type of product, IT related product, which was very cookie cutter. It was like replicating the same thing. But then they accumulated a bunch of capital and they were like, you know what, we want to try something else now. We want to actually create something completely new for our company. That was their thing. And then for several years they were assembling IT team after IT team after IT team. I am aware of 3 which not only failed to deliver the product but also failed to get anywhere close to having something sensible working. They went over budget, they disbanded like the whole, team, including management. They re-staffed, and then they kept trying and kept trying and kept trying. And even though, of course, it wasn't just IT, because like it's never just IT when you assemble 3 different teams and you fuck up all the time. But it was also IT. It was also their incapability of getting good technical leadership who will also take ownership of the project, right? And they had a shit ton of money, right? So they could, allow themselves to actually staff a proper team there. If anything, they could have reused it for their other work, but they didn't. And we had a couple of calls with them, and they were like, yes, holy shit, this is the problem. We keep hiring people who are not doing what we want them to do. They have acknowledged the problem. And then we have made 2 critical mistakes, I think. One thing is that in our offer, we got under their they basically bullied us into giving them an offer with like 4 options. And I think from now on, like, I'm not going to give optional offers to companies. I think that that was a big issue about of like that was a big cause for us to fail. We should have, instead of letting them bully us into offering them like customized solution, we should have been very, very rigid about saying, okay, look guys, we appreciate that you guys have your own libraries that you use for whatever, for like ladder or for lobby, in your Unity project. But we know that learning a library is not a fundamental, it's not a core skill. Like if a person is a good industrial developer, to get there, to become a good industrial developer, they have to learn libraries. They have to change their workflows. I mean, I can give an example with my project of remaking the website, right? The first episodes of Hyperefficient Startup were about me like learning PNPM, learning Vite.js, writing my first Vite.js plugin. Was it hard for me? No. And also importantly, you can see how in the beginning I was like, yeah, I don't really know what it is, right? For example, with PostCSS, it was like that. I didn't really know what PostCSS is, but as I was kind of speedrunning, actually, complete rehaul of the way that our website works, I was like, this is what it is, because I know so much about computer programming that I can match the ideas that I see in this library or that library, or I can see like this small kind of details and pick up on them and kind of let the small details become concepts in my mind, right? And I should have like explained this to their CTO, saying like, look, first of all, if a person is a capable industrial programmer, they will learn your fucking library that you use for lobbies or whatever. It doesn't matter. And second of all, what the beautiful argument that I should have used to like diffuse this, this objection or their request for customization, I should have said, look, we're using basically just like pure networking, like raw networking, and our lobby solution is like home rolled. Like learning a shitty home rolled lobby, solution is harder than learning a polished, amazingly functional, state of the art library, right? Because home rolled shit tends to be, legacy and stuff, and people hate legacy. So I should have said that it's even better that we're not using their stack completely, right? Because that would demonstrate, even though we're using like industry standard approaches, and we use like, basically the layout of our project is like industry standard when it comes to Unity. We decided not to bring in this particular dependency, and like we just wrote it ourselves, and you like interacting with that like component would show that the developer is has understanding of what lobby is, and how to join a lobby, how to start, like how the multiplayer server starts, and blah 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 and so on. So yeah, that was one fuck up. But the other fuck up that I honestly fucking hate myself for, and that I didn't even spot until I reread Gap Selling and really thought about how it applies to the offers that we made to various prospects, was that you shouldn't move to closing. You shouldn't move to making an offer too soon. Without invoking that, the destination of where they want to get from where they are. And this really resonated a lot, because that also diffuses the idea that it's not a big deal, right? So it's very easy for an executive who has so much stuff on their plate, even when confronted with the message that, hey, look, you don't really staff your IT departments too well, they can say, yeah, that is true, that is problematic. My developers don't do what I want them to do, but also I have all of these other issues that I have to deal with. Whereas if I would have taken time on the call, instead of talking to this technical guy like about all the details about how our product works and etc. and blah blah blah, if I would have taken time to say, hold on, we can talk about technical stuff later, right? Let's focus on what our product will actually do for you, right? And what our product will do for you is that all of the issues that you have with technical teams and with their lack of culture or inappropriate culture for your goals, it will all go away. And now all of this headache you can forget about. Now you can actually focus on having tight and precise management and tight and precise product ownership, knowing full well that you're backed by a very strong technical team full of competent industrial developers, right? And really painting the picture of the world where they just kind of explain what they want to get out of their IT system and the team executes. This is the thing that I should have done before making the offer. So my offer should have been like a simple, like 2K, euros, whatever, offer saying, okay, you'll get like 2 hires or something, or you'll get a hire, or or you'll get 10 evaluations or something like this, right? Or you'll get 20 evaluations for like 3K or whatever, like very simple thing saying like, we guarantee that we're gonna make a strong signal for you. You'll have 20 shots. If you want help, we can help you out. If you go a little bit over, like if you have like 22 candidates, whatever, if you have like 25, we probably will charge you, 2K more because we charge in batches. But the overall idea is it should have been like, look, we think that 20 evaluations will be enough for your hiring campaign. We're offering you a slightly discounted price, like instead of 4K, you get 3K for 20 evaluations. Go nuts, you got this. But sadly, I fell into like so many traps, and it's a really embarrassing situation because this company, I feel it was the closest for me to close, right? But hey, I learned from it. I reread Gap Selling. I'm ready to to apply it. And yeah, obviously I made like a shit ton of commits, but they were all really boring. I was basically just porting all the pages. It's not, there's not much fun about like porting this page from Zola to React. So yeah, that's what was going on in the last 3 days, including this one. I also actually socialized a bit, went out, did some strategy gaming to keep that brain working, to keep that brain ticking. So thanks for listening, and support us. Bye.